Hi, my name is Steve. Welcome to another Mind Bomb training video. Today's topic came to me when I was actually watching a video by the great motivational speaker Robert Kiyosaki, and there was something that he said that really struck me. That he was talking about how poor families learn to be poor, and what he was trying to explain was the fact that the society creates barriers and creates an expectation of what certain families or certain people can do within the society. And it really struck me the way that can become ingrained over a long period of time, and how difficult some people might find it to actually break out from that and to learn to do something different. So today I wanted to specifically take some time and talk about the entrepreneur mindset and how you can develop it. So it's a matter of, I think it's a learned process, and I'm sure that everyone out there that's interested, given a bit of motivation, a bit of dedication to it, I'm sure it can be learned. I'm positive that you don't need to remain a societal expectation. In fact, I think it's unlikely really that it just refers to what he called poor families. In the UK now, there's been a big thing over the last few years about people that are just about managing the jam society, and very often that's middle class, or what would have been once upon a time middle class families, people maybe with two incomes, into a household, where they found that the incomes have been flattened by the way that companies have developed. So many more people seem to be in that lower strata, not necessarily what they would have once called working class, but in a relatively stable job, but finding it difficult to progress and difficult to actually earn more than maybe a minimum wage. So it's maybe a secure or relatively secure position, but very difficult to see progression. The way that companies have developed over the last 20 or 30 years has meant that there's a relatively small number of people at the top of a business now doing very well, but then there's a whole section in the middle, which once upon a time would have been the middle managers, which is all replaced by software and systems, the operations, if you like, within the business. And the way that has now reduced, they've flattened the organisational structure. It's reduced the opportunities for so many people within the company. So you've got the top level management, and then a very big lower level of operations, the people at the sharp end of the business. So shop floor staff, or maybe the drivers in an organisation. You need lots of drivers maybe, but relatively small amount of managers, and certainly the middle managers have been flattened and squeezed out of most of the organisations now. So what's happened as a result of this is the types of jobs that people now commonly find themselves in are operational. So it's very much the doing part of the business, and in doing that, they're actually making it difficult for people to think outside of their immediate operation. That operational behaviour then translates to the same sorts of restrictions and discussions with families. So instead of looking at opportunities and thinking about how they might progress, so often families, you hear people say, I can't do that because, and it may be because I don't have a car, maybe because I don't have the qualifications, it may be because I don't have the spare time, don't have the money, the backing, whatever it is. There's so many excuses that seem embedded in the way that people begin to think, and that's really what I'm here to try and tackle. Instead of I can't do that because we need to, if we're going to be an entrepreneur, we need to move that to how can I do that? We need to turn it around, look at trying to change the thinking instead of I can't to how can I? And that is really powerful. If you start to think about along those lines, then how can I becomes a much more positive approach to any new business problem, whether it's actually at the start of the problem or whether it's actually how to improve and how to run the business. How can I develop those skills? How do I learn about this? How do I get the extra bit of cash that I need above and beyond living? How can I find a way of funding the new business that I want to start up? Whatever it is, then all of those things become possible when you start thinking about how can I? And this is really the way to become less risk averse. That risk averseness has been ingrained into people over so many years, and it's passed through generations. If you don't actually stop and think about it for a minute and challenge it yourself, then that will continue to be passed on in the way that people speak to one another in the family. And the same with friends. Instead of actually coming across more positive people and more people that are actually looking to expand and take a new opportunity, then you're very much reinforcing that stereotype of not being able to look forward, not being able to move forward. So over a matter of years, then people learn to lower their expectations. And this is what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about when he said that poor families learn to be poor. It's how they actually cope with it and lower their expectations of what they can do and what the future might hold. So if we look positively at the how can I mindset, this is really the start of the entrepreneur mindset that I want to talk about. If you're the entrepreneur, if you're the positive sort of personality, then you're going to be looking out and saying, I'm going to do this, in the future I want to be that. And that is the kind of entrepreneurial mindset that we need to encourage and motivate people to move towards. And it really is a matter of changing the way that you think about things, right from the basics, right from the start. And in order to develop that entrepreneurial mindset, I've come up with a few steps. There's a few guides that I think are important in trying to move from the stereotypical kind of ring-fenced ideas of where we're going to go and what to do, and how you can then break out of that and move forward with the new ideas, new plans, whatever it may be. Then if you want to think positively about things, then follow these simple steps. So one of the first simple steps is creative thinking. And what this really needs is for a slightly angled view of how to get things done. So instead of just simply looking at something and saying, I can't do that because maybe I don't have a car, or if you wanted to set up a shop, maybe you don't have the money for the deposit, maybe you don't have the money for the equipment, whatever it is, then get creative, start thinking about how you can do it. Maybe that is by some other means of transport, sharing a lift with somebody. Maybe it's about getting some income from a second part-time job that you set aside specifically for developing into a new business idea. Maybe it's actually to do with thinking about who else you can partner with, that you can actually get to help you with where you want to go. And all of those kind of things start from a creative thought process about how to solve a particular problem. Maybe it's coming at it from a different angle, thinking laterally, or maybe just moving slightly around the problem to start with. And then you'll actually find that you'll be able to come up with a specific solution. The second point that I want to raise in terms of how to develop the entrepreneur mindset is to take things one step at a time, in the way that I've described it, is to eat the elephant one mouthful at a time. So don't be overawed by one particular problem. Make sure that you're actually looking at step by step how you can move towards the goal of solving that particular problem. So maybe if you've cut it down into bite-sized chunks, then if you're looking to open your shop or maybe your own bakery, whatever it is that you're set on, really what you've got to do is to break that down into a series of steps. And the first one may be doing some markets, some farmers markets, selling to people locally, maybe testing some sales online, just to get the product out there and make people aware that you're actually starting your own business. So instead of going from 0 to 100 miles an hour all of a sudden, you actually break it down into that series of steps. Get some customers, get some reviews, get some feedback, make sure that you're actually on the right track with the product that you're looking to sell, and break it down into the steps along the way. As I say, it might involve getting friends or family involved in the business to help you get launched. If you get a shop that's maybe in a cheaper part of town and it's a bit run down, then bring in the friends, try and tidy everything up and make sure that you can make the best of the position that you have. And that's the way to do it, is to incrementally move towards the end goal of where you want to be. So just look one step at a time as to how you're going to achieve the end result. The third point also ties in with that, is to challenge yourself. Instead of just accepting, I can't do that because, then each time that you're thinking about how to move forward, how to progress with the business, challenge yourself, small challenges that you can see that you've then overcome something, and you can move on forward. You can present that to the next challenge. So each time that you move forward, every step becomes easier. A good example is public speaking. I'm not a great public speaker, I'm not really keen on that kind of thing, but I have done it in the past. If you have to stand up in front of a meeting of a number of people, then it helps to just go through that, and gradually, bit by bit, you learn. It becomes a bit more natural to you. It's the same with doing the videos. Having done a few now, it's a bit easier than it was at the first one. It was very daunting to actually set out and do the first video to put on YouTube, but it's the same kind of thing. If you challenge yourself, then as you get a little bit more success, you might not be perfect, then each time it becomes easier, and it becomes again part of the learned process, and more ingrained that you challenge and you overcome things than that you don't start at all, that you're immediately set back and put off by the mindset of, I can't do that because. So set yourself challenges, learn as you go, and celebrate when you've actually overcome the challenges, when you've actually seen something and it's successful. The other point about how to develop the mindset is about reaching out to positive influences. So people that you see that motivate you, people that you see that do what you want to do. It's never been easier now with social media and all of the internet access that everybody has. Then you can easily reach out to whoever it is that inspires you, whoever has that experience already, and they may not always reply in the way that you would expect. You may get ignored in some cases if you're reaching out to particularly famous people that if they're contacted thousands and thousands of times, then it's less likely that you're going to get something back. But if you find people that are maybe role models or have some experience of what you want to achieve, then those are the people that you should reach out for and ask how they achieved what they're doing, find out more about the background of what they've actually done, and look for those positive influences that can help you break down the barriers, and you can follow in the same path. You can actually see how they've done it, and then it becomes easier when you compare it with your own experience and your own path in life, and you can find out the way that you can do it, how you can apply it for yourself. The next point, I've only put 5 points, you'll be pleased to hear, but the next point is going to be really useful actually. If you're going to develop the entrepreneurial mindset, you have to learn to roll with the punches. What I mean is you've got to build resilience. So if you start to put yourself out there in front of people, however it is, whether it's at a shop, a market, if you're actually going online, you're going to get people that knock you, you're going to get setbacks along the way. So just make sure that you're aware of that in advance. And when you actually get knocked back, for whatever reason, it may be a rejection in business, it may be someone that doesn't like something you've done or said, whatever it is, there's going to be knockbacks along the way. But what you have to do is to learn to not to let it knock you flat. You've got to roll with that punch. Look at what you've been told. If it's an objection, then look at it. Think about whether someone's got a genuine point about what you're doing. If there is a problem with what you're doing, then acknowledge it and build it into the experience. Make sure that you actually take that with you and build it in and get up, and next time you'll actually improve the offering and make sure that you've created something that's more desirable for the customer, more in tune with what the customer actually wants. So yeah, roll with the punches. Don't get caught and let yourself be knocked out. Make sure that you can actually roll with it and fight again another day. So the next question then, after looking at the different steps that you can use to develop the entrepreneurial mindset, is where you go from there. And the answer is it's probably along the lines of the concept of 10,000 hours experience. Another writer that I like, Malcolm Gladwell, in one of his books, actually puts forward this idea that if you want to be an expert in something, you need at least 10,000 hours of practice or experience, whether it's concert pianist, whether it's pro tennis player, whether it's chess grandmaster or whatever it is. Then until you've done your 10,000 hours, then you're not going to get there, you're not going to fully achieve it. So it's taking the same idea. I'm not saying that you actually got to go right the way through to 10,000 hours. I think that's just a catchy number. There's obviously going to be people that are more talented or that have got previous experience that's relevant to the direction that you're going in. All of those kind of things will actually make it that bit closer. But you've really got to accept and embrace the idea that you need to keep on developing the skills that you've got. So as an entrepreneur, it's unlikely that the first business idea that you come up with is going to be your best, but you've really got to embrace it and use the experience of any new business, even in your career, if you're working for other people. Use that experience and keep it ready for your own business further down the line. It's important to be able to continually develop those skills and keep it in mind for the future, so that you know in the longer term what your plan is, and yeah, make sure that you're actually learning everything you can as you move along. So if we assume that the development of the 10,000 hours is going to be something that you can do either on the job for working for somebody else or even on the job of your own business, then you can develop that over a period of time. You often hear successful entrepreneurs talk about the time that they originally started with selling to neighbours or friends at school or whatever it is. They will have started with an early idea for a business, and that teaches you the skills. You've really got to do the same in whatever you do. So even as a side hustle, then you might be selling stuff online, you might be selling at markets, but develop those skills, take the feedback, like I said, build the resilience, and start to think about how can I, and that positive step, that positive approach to building the entrepreneur mindset. So think about it in an objective way. Don't take criticism too personally. Make sure that you've actually got the skin thick enough to be able to take a few knocks, and then you'll be able to build the entrepreneur mindset. Let me know how it goes with you, and let me know some of the setbacks that you might have actually had along the way, and how you've overcome them. Okay, and I hope that gives you food for thought. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. If you've subscribed already, then hit the bell, and then you'll get the notifications next time there's a new video. And don't forget to share the video if there's anyone you know that might be interested also in the entrepreneur mindset. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.